Welcome to Face to Face. This is a show about change and about what's next. It's a show that wants to ask questions, peel back the layers of our average everyday experience, and go beyond scratching the surface. We interview amazing people with incredible ideas and stories who have done wild, weird, and wonderful things. Remember that imagination shared creates collaboration, and collaboration creates community, and community inspires social change. I'm David Peck, and this is Face to Face. So my next interview is with Jamie Dagg, the director of River, Canadian director of River, and Rossif Sutherland, who the star of River, John Lake, is the character that he plays. I interviewed both of these guys separately back in October. I think actually Jamie in September pre-TIFF and Rossif post-TIFF. Rossif's also starred in Hellions, Bruce McDonald, and Paul Gross's film Hyena Road. A couple of very talented people here I've got on the phone. Sadly, I've only got them for about 10 minutes. I think I was able to stretch the interview just a little bit. Lots of good stuff going on here. You're going to want to catch this film. It opens this Friday, March the 11th. Is that right? Wow, I have no idea what date it is. Yeah, March the 11th it opens in Vancouver, Montreal, Toronto. And it's a film that's close to my heart because not only is it an entertaining thriller, but there's a lot going on here about little things, incrementalism, splash and ripple effect, unexpected outcomes, and guess what? It was filmed in Southeast Asia. So I hope you enjoy the interview. Check it out. Coming soon to a theater near you. Well, guys, 8 minutes. Wow, you're really going the extra mile for me today.
We did an hour before, so we figured.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're breaking my heart. So thanks for joining us, Jamie Dagg, the director of the film River, Rossif Sutherland. I am always amazed who I can get on the phone. So thank you guys for joining me today.
Pleasure.
So let's go right in. You guys have won a couple of awards. You're going to be a feature at the Canadian Screen Awards coming up, TIFF, a lot of buzz. How are you feeling about the film right now? Before I go too deep, I just want to hear a little bit of your 2 cents after kind of post-TIFF and sort of some of that landslide that must have occurred while you guys were there.
Well, it's really nice after a lot of work has gone into this film, so it's really it's an honor to be acknowledged by your peers, you know. Rossif, what are...
Well, you know, we set out to make this film. This was a very, very little film with a lot of things going against it. It was a challenge going in, wondering if we could actually achieve to make a film.
Right.
And we did. And the film had a lovely reception at the Toronto Film Festival and in festivals throughout the States. You went to a few.
We went we had our U.S. premiere at Fantastic Fest.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, listen.
So it went through all of this, and now we find ourselves right before the release of the film, and they're the Canadian Awards, and it's just it's quite a miracle that the film was actually completed, and that we actually have a film that we can all be proud of. We were just coming home, having survived the experience, but that's just something that people hopefully will want to see and get to share this experience that we got to live through.
Well, I hope they get to see it too. I think it's a great film. First of all, I think it's just so you know, I loved it. Jamie, as you know, I've got a deep interest in Southeast Asia. Spent a lot of time in Cambodia, so it appealed to me on so many levels. But I mean, you know, you write in your director's statement about negative, unexpected outcomes, and I want to go in because we've got such a short period of time. But you know, so is I guess a nice segue is this: has the reception been kind of an unexpected outcome for you?
Well, to me, and not to sort of copy what Rossif was just saying in a previous interview, the reward comes from, for me anyway, it comes from the experience of making the film.
Yeah.
Anything else above and beyond that is just is unexpected, and it's a nice surprise, but it's not my reason that I get up in the morning or anything like that, you know.
No, and to be perfectly honest, I make these films, and I always forget that people are going to see it.
Right.
I think it's part of my defense mechanism that allows me to be vulnerable while shooting, because I don't have to constantly remind myself that other people are going to watch me and judge me. And so it is very much for us as filmmakers, it's the experience of making it. Certainly on a very selfish level, it's acting, bringing a character to life is very much about what that character, that journey will teach me in my own life, and so it's a gift in many ways. And so anything that comes after that is quite redundant.
Right. That's kind of cool. We're talking about intention, I suppose, which to me is really what the film is kind of all about. I mean, Jamie, you've created it. You guys, both of you, the cast, everyone has created a really entertaining film, I think, on a certain level. But for me, I find it to be an important film. Can I say that?
Please do.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about little things making a big difference. I'm all about social change. I mean, this is about a guy who in the moment makes a decision, maybe overreacts, and then the fallout as a result of it. So there's this strange sense of morality to his character.
I'm not sure he actually makes a decision. I think it's his animal nature that just sets in. I'm not sure he's thinking. I think just as I was saying, when I make films, I don't think of what happens next. I don't crowd myself with the reality of the aftermath. I don't think he's thinking about the consequences of his actions. I think he's just acting. And so when he overreacts and doesn't just stop this assailant of this, who's the rapist of this young local girl, and my character is there to correct the wrong and put a stop to it, but my character ultimately takes it too far. By stopping it, he also stops that person's life.
It's almost vengeance in a way too.
Well, I wonder too if you had already, Rossif, if John Lake had already made those decisions previously. So in other words, I mean, to me, the guy's got a moral fiber, right? In order to be able to come to that woman's rescue and to behave the way that he did, yes, cross the line, okay, but perhaps that's just how things play out from day to day. I mean, these are unintended consequences.
Yes,
but to get involved, but you had to have made a choice to get involved.
Yes, there was a choice to get involved. He was also, under the influence. He was quite drunk, and I think that there is such a thing as a perfect storm where one injustice, and once you address it, you're trying to correct kind of all the injustices in your life. And so I think he's somebody who feels quite misunderstood. I imagined him as being quite the black sheep in his family. Comes from a background of very successful people in the medical field. And he's trying to find purpose to his life, and he hasn't necessarily had an easy road. It sounds like I'm talking about my own life. But he decides to work for this NGO because he knows what how it's considered, that he'd be a do-gooder. But oftentimes when you're being charitable, you're doing it for very selfish reasons too. And so I think that this animal was inside of him all the time, which is why he runs for his life, because he knows that he's not innocent. And in many ways, nobody is.
Yes, yeah, we're all culpable on some level.
Yeah, we all are. And so the story is
flight response as well. It's just animal nature as well.
Yeah. And so the story is very much about just there is that sense of justice, but it's also very much about freedom and what freedom means. And it's the freedom of the mind versus the freedom of the body. And yes, he's on the run because he doesn't want to be in jail for the rest of his life. but by not facing the consequences of his actions, he's going to be in prison in his mind for the rest of his days. So it's the choice ultimately of what he needs to do, and that's what the film explores.
It's so great. Jamie, Rossif, tell me a little bit about, I know we could probably have to go shortly here, but tell me a little bit about the Mekong. I mean, we got one of the longest rivers in the world, the life that this river gives, the metaphor of a river. I mean, it's just so, on some level, so sort of, it makes so much sense, right? But you guys must have been reflecting about that during production, about the strength, the power, the incremental effect. You know, what did Heraclitus say? You can't step in the same river twice, right? It's all about change.
To be completely honest, it wasn't something that we were, obviously it's something that you think about, but it wasn't something where I think we're really conscious of.
The film is called River. So.
Yeah. River was the working title. Yeah.
So somebody was thinking about it.
A river, we just called it River. But yes, sure, there is the symbolism of a river feeds and connects all these lands, all these pockets of life. But it was mostly about, I think you can probably better answer that, but I'll answer for your sake. The setting of it all in Laos, on an island, we're very much to create the environment of stress and claustrophobia and feeling alone in this foreign land. So the film could have been shot anywhere.
Yeah, indeed.
It could have been shot in Cuba, which would have been a lot easier for us to do.
Not for you swimming across to Florida, though.
Yeah, well, that would have been a long, long swim, and it would have been a different film. I would probably try and get on a boat or something. But I found out about that later on, much to my dismay, after having swam through the Mekong River, that we could have very well done this elsewhere. This was not a film so much about Southeast Asia. The setting was just the setting,
right.
And it was very much about just exploring the human flawed character and what makes us different from animals and very much the same.
Well, I think it's marvelous that you did choose Southeast Asia. I'm so glad that you filmed it there for my own sort of selfish interest. I think it adds to the film. I think it adds a dynamic, can you say it's a character? I think you can. Geography, the river itself, I think it really does. It works. And I think in some ways, Jamie, and you could speak to this, you've spent a lot of time over there, having been there and spent so much time myself there, it really drew me in a way that other films don't. So we probably got to wrap it up, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Listen, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, congratulations on the film. It opens this Friday?
That's correct, yeah.
In
Awesome.
Vancouver, Montreal, and Toronto.
Well, I wish you well with it all. Enjoy the success. And again, congratulations on a great film. Thanks again.
Thank you very much. We'll talk again soon, man.
All right, see you guys.
Take care.
Bye-bye.